Okay, I'm going to show you guys today a lot of different ways that you can decorate your pieces of paper. So last time you watched me decorate this real fast, and then I did the same thing again, but I used a purple and a really like a magenta hot pink. So same idea as before, but I just added another layer. Okay, so now I am going to cut this. And remember, they don't have to be a certain width. So you can vary it and change up the sizes. You could do one that's like this size, and you could do like a little one. Whatever floats your boat. You can also tear them or you can cut them. So I'm going to show you guys how to sew. So first I'm going to show you how to thread a needle. I don't know if you know how. It's very easy. So this is thread and this is yarn. And there's all different kinds of yarn. This is a thinner one. All right, so for yarn, you got to have a thicker needle like this. And for thread, you can have a much smaller one. So all you do is you take the end, and you would do it exactly the same for thread. It would just be smaller. And you get it to go, let's see if I can have it where you can see, through the hole like this. So I just licked it so it would get a little bit like smushed together. Sometimes you have to go like this, and then you got to like cut the end off. And then it helps to lick it again. Kind of go like this with your fingers. Of course I can't do it now. I already had this in once, and then I was like, oh, I should show you how to do it. And now I can't get it in. It's not even really hard. I'm just making it look like it's hard. Sorry. It's really not that difficult, but I am definitely making it look like it's hard. I'm going to stick it in some water over here, so it will be really wet. And you know, this is always something, if you want to do it, that you can have like your mom or dad help you with. Okay, there we go. See, went right through. Okay, so now you're going to pull the thread so that it ends at the same length at the end. And then you just tie a little knot. And the same again if you were using thread. I'm going to double knot it. And then I'm going to cut this off. Okay, and then you want to make sure that the front looks like this, and then it goes all the way back like this with the knot. You don't want the knot like on the side somewhere, and you don't need a piece this long. It just happens to be what I have. Okay, so when you are going to thread something, you can either just kind of wing it, or you can set out a design. I'm going to go ahead and sort of set out a design just to give you an idea, but you might not want to do it in pen like I'm doing. I want you to be able to see it, and if I use pencil on this, I don't know how well you'll see it. So I'm going to do this little line, so it'll go in here, come back down here. Then I'm going to have it skip a space and do it again. So this will just be like a really simple design. Well, I'm going to start it like that, and then I'm just going to kind of see where I go. Okay, so this is a thicker paper. If you are using like, you know, just computer paper, you're not going to want to use this thick of a needle. You'll want to use the thread with a regular needle. And you have to be real careful, especially with the computer paper because it's going to be a lot thinner. Okay, so I'm going to put it through this hole here. It's going to slide through. Okay, it sticks right there. Then I'm going to push it through here again. Pull it all the way through. All right, see? Easy. Then I'm going to come back over here, see if it lines up with my dot. Oop, picked up the needle on the way. And then I'm going to go through this dot. And then I'm just going to kind of make stuff up, give you guys some ideas. Good grief, I keep picking up this needle. I'm going to move it out of the way. I don't know if you guys ever had those things when you were like really little where you would like, you know, sew into cardboard, that you would like get this kit from like the store. And this is kind of really all that is. And do like a little X here. And then I'm going to go underneath the X. And now I'm going to go over it. And see how you can start to create some like cool patterns and stuff. And the back will look totally different, and don't worry about it so much. You just want to make sure you've got things pulled tight, because sometimes I'll show you what can happen if you're not paying good attention. Okay, so then if you turn it over and you see how this one is loose right here, so you just want to go to the one right before it and pull it a little bit tight so it goes all the way through like that. Okay, so that's just like a fun little way to add some texture with things that, you know, you could have around the house. All right, now I'm going to show you how you can paint on your paper with acrylic paint, if you have acrylic paint. Let me grab a paper towel real quick. So I am using a palette knife, but I am fully aware that you probably don't have a palette knife at your house. You can use a paintbrush, you could use a popsicle stick, you could use a knife if it's cool with your mom. It doesn't matter. You just need something like, you know, a palette knife's just a flat knife. It's not even really a knife. Okay, so I'm going to take some of this turquoise and I'm just going to kind of lay it down. And kind of an abstract, interesting vibe. And then I can either wait till this dries or dry it myself, or I can just go and add a color right on top of it. I'm going to just add one right on top. I'm just going to use this white. I can make little scratchies in it. My dog thinks somebody's here, even though there is not anyone here. If you hear any snorting, that would be him, the pug in the background. He's always snorting. Okay, so there you go. You can do that. Then, if you want to add some glitter to it, you can, because you can just put it on top and the glitter will stick to the paint to a degree. Obviously, you might not want to add glitter, so you don't have to. And this isn't any kind of like, ooh, special glitter. Like, it's from Hobby Lobby. It's like skinnier glitter, but thinner, fine grade, I guess. But it's not like some special art thing that I bought. It's not like what you guys used on your agates that, you know, you're not going to have at your house. It's just regular glitter. And then maybe I want to go back in and mess with it some more so it doesn't look like I just dropped a bunch of glitter right there. So then I can kind of go back in and play around with it, you know, and just keep messing with it until I get it the way I want. Realize this is obviously not going to be one strip. This could be 2, 4, whatever. So when you're cutting it up, it's going to have like interesting looking designs because it's not going to just be this, even though this looks interesting too. Okay, other options. Move this out of the way. Okay. Let's see, if you wanted to use crayon. So I figure you guys probably all have crayons at your house. You can do specific designs, or you can just do abstract like I did with the watercolor. I am also going to glue these little beads down. So I'm going to use a hot glue gun. Remember, these are all just ideas. It does not mean, oh, I don't have a hot glue gun and Mrs. E used one, so we got to go get one. That's not the point. I'm just trying to give you all different options because I don't know what each person has at their house, so I figure you're going to have something that I am showing you. Or maybe you'll have a lot of it. I don't know. Now, keep in mind that, you know, this is getting these little like tails, that strings that hot glue likes to do. I would go back through and pick them out, but I'm not going to do that in the video. Okay, let's try to get a little bit out of the way. Well, maybe I am going to get them out because they bug me, but it's not going to be perfect because it's going to be wadded up around each one. Okay, but maybe I can take my crayon and I can start doing little designs around it. Or I could have done my crayon to begin with and then glued this on top. Just try to keep an open mind and be like creative and think outside the box. Also, if you're allowed to, like, get on Pinterest, look at paper weaving projects. There's just like all different kinds of things you can try. Don't feel like you've got to go just with what I'm bringing up. Okay, also, let's see, I'm gonna do some abstract stuff. And remember, like, you don't have to put what is exactly next to each other in the weave next to each other. Like, just because it's like this here, when I cut it, I can put it in different directions. Or maybe you have to do, you know, 18 of these to show me tonight, Thursday night, but you could make 20 of them or 25 and pick your favorites. It doesn't have to be, you know, like, feel free to play around with it. All right, now I'm gonna put some buttons down that I found in my house. These aren't like I went out and bought buttons. This is like buttons from coats and all those extra things that you get when you're getting like a new jacket or whatever, and they always give you like an extra button or two. That's what this is. Never used them on the jackets. Don't even know where those jackets are. Okay, so see, you can play around with stuff like that. Let's see, I have a list of things I want to go over with. Okay, on this watercolor example, you guys you're Zendoodle pros, and I am by no means saying that you need to Zendoodle this like we did in the classroom where it was super tight together and took forever. You can take the concepts of Zendoodling, make them a lot bigger, and use them as options. So this is dry, it was watercolor. Now I'm going to use a felt tip pen. I'm just going to start adding little designs on. You can, you know, put them all across the whole thing, or you can fill it in little spots so that you're getting kind of a design down, but it's not necessarily totally perfect looking. It's just sort of thought out, but also have fun with it. So see, then you can You could Zendoodle this, not Zendoodle this one, put them in different directions. There's all kinds of choices. This one you're probably gonna think is funny, but I was like, what are some other things you could use? Okay, here's Mod Podge. You can use glue. It does not have to be Mod Podge. And I'm gonna lay some Mod Podge down. And then, again, you're probably gonna laugh. I have a pepper shaker, and I am going to do it over the Mod Podge. Shake off the difference, and then that's like a fun texture. Look at that. And when it's dry, I might go over it again with the Mod Podge to make sure it's really stuck. So there is an option. All right, what else did I have? Okay, here are some of the ones from yesterday that I worked on with you. You can take these ones that we dipped in that glue water mixture, and then you can do stuff on top of them. So this one, remember, I just showed you like a little bit with the coffee mixture, but you can paint on top of it. So I'm gonna get some of my paint. I'm gonna use a little bit of this pink. I'm gonna start rubbing it into the material so that I'm sort of changing it in certain places. I personally would not paint it all perfectly everywhere, but I'm kind of a more abstract style artist, so I would want to have it just in certain different places and things. You might want it everywhere, and that is fine. We can all have our own likes and dislikes. You don't have to like exactly what I like. Anyway, and then you could do it all the way throughout. You could alter them if you wanted to use similar materials. You can also use glitter on them. So here is the paper towel that was blue, and I'm going to use some of the Mod Podge. And remember, it could be glue as well. I'm going to put some of that down. And I'm going to get some of this black glitter right here and just start putting it on a little bit. You know, I would just keep messing with it until I got it the way I liked. I can also sew into this paper towel. So I'm going to use the thread and needle for this one, and I'd already threaded it because it's, even though I've, you know, used the glue water mixture, it's still going to be thinner than the other paper I was using. So I don't really want to use a super thick piece of yarn, but that doesn't mean it would be impossible if that's all you had. You just have to be careful. And you can't really see this as well because it's white, but you can see how you can sew into it, which is kind of fun. So like basically we took a paper towel and then we added a glue water mixture to it, and now we've got this sculptural element, and now we're sewing into it, which is pretty cool if you think about it. Like, I bet a lot of people wouldn't necessarily think that they could make an art project out of paper towels and have it turn out looking sculptural and interesting. It just shows you how you can really do stuff that you wouldn't necessarily think, especially when we're trying to be creative with what we have at home. But, you know, if you just have paper towels and watercolor, or maybe not even watercolor, but your parents drink coffee, then you can do it, the paper towel with coffee, like I showed you. Anyway, so you can see, like, I'm just kind of playing around, putting some texture on there. And yeah, so you've got lots of options. Remember, you've got to show me 18 strips, like, so, you know, just lay them out on, you know, your paper, or not your paper, like, lay them out like on a table or whatever. Just sort of show me what you've got, and then, you know, take your photo of it, and you may need to take more than one photo, and that's fine. If you guys have any questions, you can just message me through Google Classroom or send me an email. I hope you guys are doing well. Talk to you soon. Bye.